WWE is still in Europe following Clash in Italy. So yesterday's show had a 2 p.m. Eastern start time for fans in the US. Sunday's event saw just one title change hands when Sol Ruka defeated Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, and Rhea Ripley all successfully retained their titles. And Brock Lesnar evened the score against Obafemi. Let's take a look at how WWE handled the fallout to Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube and Streamy.com today. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher and the Phenom, Michael Bullock. Monday Night Raw, or should I say Monday Afternoon Raw, because we had a special start time of 2 p.m. Eastern here in the United States, exclusively on Netflix, of course, and once again from the Inalpe Arena in Turin, Italy. We started it off with the acknowledgement ceremony. After the obligatory Clash in Italy recap video, of course, we had the World Heavyweight Champion Roman Reigns and the Usos. Crowd chanted and sang for a long time before the OTC finally spoke at the 13-minute mark in the show. They called out Jacob Fatu so he could acknowledge Roman as his tribal chief, which they agreed to before their match on Sunday. The Samoan Werewolf came out and Reigns said he knew what time it was. Jay tried to get cute. In fact, TC diverted his attention again. He said he knew what he was getting into Sunday and didn't seem to have any regrets. He acknowledged Roman as his tribal chief, but he also reminded Jay that he didn't lose to him. He got down on one knee and bowed. Reigns shook his hand and said he loved him. Fatu posed with them to end the segment. While this kept the crowd's attention, it felt like it lasted. Not happy about any of this, so it'll be interesting to see how he acclimates to his new reality. But this feels like the start of a new chapter. Let's hope that WWE has a plan in place for that. So, I mean, nothing really, to really speak of here. So, my goodness, that crowd was just nuts. Jey Uso, I mean, that was easily the most fun for me on that. First match of the night. And Obafemi. So it was Carmelo Hayes versus Solo Sikoa versus Penta versus the entire first half of the match felt designed to remind people how dominant Oba can be despite losing to Brock Lesnar on Sunday. Everyone did a good job selling for him, and a
Um, Anthony, I don't know if you tossed it to me or not. I can't even hear
I,
you.
I can't even hear him either.
Yeah, I don't know what is going on.
Yeah, it's got to be something on his end.
Yeah. Um, yeah,
Yeah, he hasn't
it's
even.
unfortunate. It's live, so we apologize, guys. I know he
Mm-hmm.
was gonna try to toss it to me about the match and the whole 9 yards. Obafemi did indeed win the match, and that's a very interesting outcome, because here's the thing, Michael Bullock. The one thing we've been hearing is maybe a third match between him and Brock Lesnar for SummerSlam. But you know that if Obafemi ends up winning the King of the Ring tournament, that negates everything. That would eliminate the threat of having Oba fighting Brock at SummerSlam because the winner of the King of the Ring automatically fights against their brand champion, whoever that may be, at SummerSlam. So, and if you notice the bracket, a lot of people are saying it may be Royce Keys that wins the King of the Ring. For Oba to win this, and some people thought, oh, maybe Brock comes out, screws Oba over, and that sets up the big fight. That would set up the big war that will determine if Oba goes to SummerSlam.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Bullet, can you hear me?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, the only way I see an Oba Brock 3 is if Brock Lesnar screws over Oba Femi and costs him King of the Ring.
Yeah.
That's
Because
the
right
only way
now,
I see it. That's the only way I see it happening. I mean,
yeah, because if you
because remember
notice,
what Oba said after the match. It's one. It's 1-1. I'll see you down the line. So
yeah,
maybe it's it opens the door for a third match. So maybe I mean, like I said, the only way I see it happening at SummerSlam is if Brock screws him out of the King of the Ring tournament.
yeah. But if
That,
you notice, if this is the way Oba's gonna go, there's nobody stopping him. He's gonna win King of the Ring, and that's the weird thing is that we initially everybody had Oba penciled in to win the King of the Ring, and a lot of people had maybe Oba winning the WWE Championship at SummerSlam over Roman Reigns. But with the
mm-hmm.
Brock Lesnar thing hanging over the head now, it makes me wonder, are they really going to let Oba go over, win King of the Ring, and does Brock come back to screw Oba at SummerSlam? But then that makes no sense, no logic. Because why would you do that?
Yeah, why would you
Why
only
would
have a
you
make it? Why would you only have a make an appearance, a brief appearance in his home of Minnesota?
to clip Obafemi off what would have been a surefire WWE World Heavyweight Championship win? It would absolutely be ass backwards if they do that, if they go down that route. But do I think that's going to happen? I don't know. I believe personally that I think we may be setting up for a colossal be a man fight. Royce Keys versus Oba Femi. Maybe Brock shows up to screw Oba at Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia, gives Royce Keys the King of the Ring. And oh, by the way, if that does that, that opens the door for Royce Keys to fight Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship at SummerSlam. I
Now
think that might be the money fight right there.
I was going to say that would be the more logistic way to go. I mean,
Yes.
because if you have Obafemi go over, win the King of the Ring, and goes on to fight Roman Reigns, and then you have Brock Lesnar show up and screws him over, it makes zero sense whatsoever.
And it would piss off a lot of fans.
The only way you would get this right is if you had Royce Keys go over, faces Cody Rhodes, and then you set up Brock and Oba for the third time at SummerSlam.
I got a better idea, but you guys go first.
And the other
No,
thing
I
too,
think
I think
that's
hold on.
that's where I'm going. That's my logic.
And the other thing too is some people think maybe it's too soon because for Obafemi to face off against Roman Reigns, because if you have Obafemi going up against Roman Reigns and you have him lose, it literally kills the momentum.
Yeah,
Very much so.
and that's the other thing that I'm also. But the thing is, that's why I wouldn't have Oba win King of the Ring, because because like you said, that would hurt Oba in a grander scheme. If he gets screwed over by Brock Lesnar, and that sets up the third fight, Oba retires Brock at SummerSlam. Then you would let Oba continue his path of destruction. Let him win the Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia. No, it's not in Saudi Arabia.
WrestleMania.
No, WrestleMania is in Saudi Arabia. I would let Oba win the Royal Rumble, and then you let him go after Roman at Saudi Arabia, and that's when you pull the trigger and let Oba win the title and become the champion of the world. That would be the.
Yep. By the way, Florio, what was your rating for that Fatal 4-Way?
Well, for me, it was 3. I gave it a solid 3.
Still can't hear him.
You still can't hear me?
No, I can hear him. No, I hear you. I hear you, Florio. No, I got you. You said 3.
For some reason, I can't hear him on my end.
Yeah, I can hear him.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I don't know what's. No, I got you.
Me.
I got you. No, I can hear you loud and clear, Florio. I don't know what's wrong with Bullock now, because I hear you perfectly. He can't. I don't know what I can hear Bullock, and I can hear you, but I don't. Bullock cannot hear you. I don't know what's going on with that.
Maybe
but I hear you clearly, Florio.
Yeah, perhaps it's something.
Can you hear me?
Florio speaking. Florio, I mean, he's speaking, but for some reason I can't hear him. So I may have to step out and then step in. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think that would be for the
best. All right, Bullock, go do that right now. Go ahead, man. I got you.
Yeah. All right. As far as I'm concerned, the match was 3 stars, like I said. Bullock, can you hear me now? Bullock, can you hear me?
For some reason, I still can't hear him.
He still can't hear me.
He can't hear you, but I can hear him, and I think he can hear me.
Yes.
All right. So I'm gonna have to be a relay. I'm gonna have to be a buffer both ways on this one.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. But
all right.
So as far as my rating for the match is concerned, it's 3 to 3.25 stars. And what I was trying to make before my technical difficulties got in the way, it was the fact that WWE has so many events lined up, every 3 weeks, and we couldn't have a proper, 16-man, 16-woman tournament with all one-on-one matches and none of these 4-ways. But, it is what it is. And Oba winning, no big surprise. So, but let me give you my theory here. I don't see Oba winning the King of the Ring either. I think possibly in the semifinals, especially if Braun Breaker gets there. I think that's where we could have Brock Lesnar screw over Obafemi to set up their rubber match for SummerSlam. I did initially have Oba winning the King of the Ring, but after some some careful thought recently, I'm going with Seth Rollins to win the King of the Ring. Because let's not forget, the original plan for WrestleMania was supposed to be Seth Rollins defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Roman Reigns. It was supposed to be Rollins and Reigns for the title. That never happened because of Seth Rollins' injury. They had to pivot. And on the other side of the coin, it was supposed to be CM Punk and Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship. Those were the two main event plans, the original main event plans for WrestleMania right there. So, because of this, because of Brock screwing over Oba in the semifinal, I don't think it's going to be in the final. Or then again, because there's rumors going around that Braun Breaker got injured again. And we'll address that later on. But if it's true about Braun Breaker's injury, then what we're looking at is they may have to do Oba and Seth in the final, and then Brock screws over Oba, and then you can still have Seth and Roman as your night one SummerSlam main event. Or maybe even night two, who knows? But regardless, this was a solid 3-star match. I think we've wasted enough time because of my technical difficulties. I apologize to all of you out there. I had no idea that was going on. But, it is what it is. Live.
And now
I
can hear you, Florio, this time.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that, Bullock. I'm glad to hear that.
Well, what I did is I just turned my phone off and then turned it on and then tried to get back in to see if it worked this time, and obviously it did.
Very good. I'm glad to hear that.
So what was your rating for the match?
3. Solid 3.
And Fletch gave the same thing, right?
Yeah, I gave the same thing. I gave it 3.
Yeah, I'll just say 3 stars as well. So, like you said, we wasted too much time because of, like you said, the unfortunate thing that happened with you, Florio. So let's just move right along.
Yeah, let's hope everything hangs in the balance here. All right. Moving on. We had Sol Ruca. She came out after the break for her first official interview as the Women's Intercontinental Champion. Kathy Kelly was there to ask how it felt to finally be the champion as the crowd chanted, "You deserve it." Ruca thanked the fans for always believing in her. She also gave props to Becky Lynch for giving her a good fight. Her interview went uninterrupted, which felt like the right decision. It was not the strongest promo she has ever given, but it was a good start. So we'll just leave it at that. Then we move on to tag team action. We had Rey Mysterio teaming up with Dragon Lee. They squared off against Ethan Page and Rusev. Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee, they win the match. 11 and a half minutes. That's 11 minutes and 30 seconds. MF, we started with you here. Rey Mysterio, Dragon Lee, knocking off Ethan Page and Rusev in 11:30. And somewhere, some way, we don't have a date and time yet, but eventually, Rey and Penta, Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship in an MF special.
Yeah, I kind of feel like they may be saving this for Saudi Arabia. I think this may be at Clash of Champions, and I think this will be a heck of a match if these two guys go at it. I think it was a solid 3.5-star bout. I think everybody was really good involved, but I really love the fact that down the line we're getting Rey versus Penta. This is going to be a love letter. We thought if you thought that the Lucha Libre match between El Grande Americano and the original El Grande Americano from La Noche de las Grandes from the AAA event on Saturday was a love letter to Lucha Libre, this matchup for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship is going to be a love letter to the Lucha Libre, because you got El Jefe, the leader, the godfather of Lucha Libre in Rey Mysterio against by far one of the fastest rising stars in Lucha Libre in Penta. And this is going to be one of those fights that will redefine what lucha libre is, but it also may also redefine the division in the Intercontinental division as a whole, because Rey is no stranger to that title. Penta is, I'll by far say it right now, he's easily becoming one of the greatest Intercontinental champions in the history of the title. Now, I'm not calling him the greatest of all time, but he's fastly rising up the ranks with the Intercontinental Championship because of the longevity, because of the number of title defenses he's had, and not only that, but also the men that he had to face to successfully defend that title. So it's already becoming a list of who's who, and we always talk about and preach about the Intercontinental Championship as the worksman's title. And trust me, folks, with Penta running that title, it's amazing what they've been doing. So I really got nothing more to add. Michael Bullock, 3.5 stars. It is yours, brother.
Yeah, 3.5 stars for me as well on this match. I mean, yeah, I enjoyed it, and yeah, Rey and Penta somewhere down the line for the Intercontinental Championship. I mean, I think that's going to be something really good. I mean, yeah, like you even said, but those two I think are going to have a tough time trying to top what we saw at that AAA event with the El Grande Americano and the original El Grande Americano, where we can all agree. I mean, everybody is agreeing that this by far is the wrestling match of the year. I mean, so you never know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. So nothing more to say. It's yours, Florio.
Got some breaking news from the NHL. The Vegas Golden Knights steal Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals. They defeat the Carolina Hurricanes 5-4. Vegas up 1-0. Game 2 on Thursday night.
And all I can say is what a crazy Game 1 that was. I mean...
Oh, yeah.
Carolina scored 25 seconds into that game.
Yes, they did.
And then it's just back and forth. And this is only Game 1.
Mm-hmm.
If this is a harbinger of things to come, we're going to be in for one hell of a series.
Absolutely. Just a quick thought.
Doc?
I gotta say, it was a tremendous start. I mean, you had Ehlers 2 goals right out of the gate, 25 seconds in, the second goal at 12:08. But then Vegas not only comes back, but they fire with 3 unanswered to take the lead. Then we had the tie. Then it went back and forth. And then Thomas Hertl, 16:36 in the third, sends Vegas over, and Viva Las Vegas on a big win. The one thing I would say is the turnovers in this game was absolutely killers,
Yes.
especially on the side of Carolina. It led to 2 goals, 2 major mistakes in your own zone. You cannot do that in the Stanley Cup Final. That was one thing, Florio, you were yelling about in the broadcast tonight. You when you get the O-zone, you cannot make those kind of mistakes, and they did. And my goodness, what a game! What a Game 1. We'll be talking a lot more about it on Thursday on TXN Sports World.
Indeed, we will. So, yep, there you go. So we'll have more on the Stanley Cup Final on Thursday night as part of TXN Sports World. But getting back to this, I'm going to meet you in the middle. I'm going to give it between 3.25 and 3.5 for the tag team match there. Outcome not in doubt. I mean, Rey needed the win, obviously, to give him the momentum going into his impending showdown with Penta. for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. And my goodness, what a match that's going to be whenever it happens. As far as this is concerned, there wasn't really much to this match, but it was a crowd pleaser. The fans in Italy were excited to see the legendary Rey Mysterio perform, but it was the other three men who carried most of the weight in this bout. Rey got the win for his team with a 619 to Ethan Page, and that's all there is to say there. So, not much more. Let's move on to the first match, the first four-way match of the Queen of the Ring tournament. Roxanne Perez versus Io Sky versus Julia versus Lash Legend. Roxanne Perez and Io Sky representing Monday Night Raw. Julia and Lash Legend representing SmackDown. Winner of the match in 10 minutes and 40 seconds. And moving on in the Queen of the Ring tournament, it is Io. Io Sky wins it. 10 minutes, 40 seconds. Michael Bullock, we started with you. Io Sky, our first entrant into the semifinals of the Queen of the Ring tournament.
Yeah, no surprise with this outcome here. I mean, yeah, 2.5 to 3 is my rating for this match. I mean, this was a solid match, and basically, yeah, Io advances, and I don't know if you guys saw later on during the backstage segment and with the Judgment Day, Roxanne Perez, she literally crashed out when she didn't advance, and Liv Morgan basically, how do I put it, Fletch, when it comes to,
let's just say the ego got in the way. She was already fantasizing about being the Queen of the Ring.
It's almost like she was like rubbing it
she
in
dismissed
Roxanne's
it.
face.
No, it was like she literally dismissed the loss, thinking, I'm now going to be Queen of the Ring. She kind of didn't care that Roxanne lost or had any, ill feelings about what happened to her in that match.
And Roxanne didn't look too happy.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
She didn't look too happy when Liv Morgan said that.
Yeah. It's like, dude, are you kidding? I stuck my neck out for you. Yeah, I stuck my neck out for you to help you keep your title and all this stuff. And that's how you repay me after. So, no, man. You can tell this definitely trouble in paradise. There is definitely trouble in paradise.
Yeah, and didn't they say that that Judgment Day is supposed to be one big family?
Yeah.
That certainly didn't look like it to me.
That did not look like it at all. You're right.
And I'll tell you this right now, Fletch. And I'll tell you this right now, Fletch. It's going to come back and bite Liv Morgan in the ass eventually.
I think so too. I agree.
I'm telling you,
it could happen in the next match.
It's going to happen.
It could happen in the next match.
Yeah. Roxanne, she's going to turn eventually. They're planting the seeds for this. It's not a matter of if; it's just a matter of when. And like you said, that fatal 4-way that's going to happen next week involving Liv Morgan. I'm going to go on the record of saying this. I think this is where Roxanne turns on the Judgment Day. And basically it's going to be payback is a
you-know-what.
Is a you-know-what.
I kind of disagree with it, Bullock, because I think they're gonna slow burn this. I could see, because I don't think Roxanne is winning the Queen of the Ring. If you want my honest opinion, Liv Morgan, I'm sorry. If you want my honest opinion, who I think is going to win it all on the women's side, I'm calling for JC Jane. I'm thinking JC's going to win it all. She's going after Rhea. We're going to have a new champion. JC is going to cash in and win the belt at SummerSlam. I think they're grooming it. I feel it. And especially after the Nuclear Heat that JC and Fatal Influence have been getting, there's no doubt in my mind they're gonna strike while the iron is hot. And it is hot for JC Jane.
But getting back to this situation, I think we can all agree Roxanne's turning on the Judgment Day eventually.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Long-term booking, boys.
It's not a matter of if. It's just a matter of when it's going to happen.
Long-term booking.
I will call it here. I think Liv goes all the way to the final. I think it'll be Liv and JC at the end. I think Roxanne screws Liv over. That gives JC the queen of the ring. And I think we're going to get Roxanne versus Liv at SummerSlam for the title.
Could happen.
I agree with Fletch. I don't, and sorry to say it, Florio, it's not that it could happen. I think it is going to happen.
Well, I have some reservations about that a little bit, but as we go through the brackets, so
but we can all agree, no matter what, Roxanne's turning on the Judgment Day.
Oh, she absolutely is.
So you can laugh and be all egotistical about it, Liv, but your ego's going to come back and bite you in the ass.
Indeed. Rating? You said 2.5 to 3.
Yeah, 2.5 to 3 is my rating. That's what I said.
For me, I'm going to go a little higher on this. I'm going to go 3 to 3.25 for this. It was, and much like Obafemi in the men's match, Lash Legend found herself being targeted by all three opponents due to her size and power advantage. Far more competitive and unpredictable than the men's match. All four women looked to have an equal chance of winning, which made it more fun to follow. And Io with the win over Julia to advance into the semifinals. And Julia is half Italian and got a great reception from the Turin crowd. And she also changed up her look significantly. And I like it. I don't just like it. I absolutely love it. I think she looks even better than she did before. So, who knows? Maybe this could be the beginning of a repackaging for Julia there. So we'll see what happens. Now, Io advances. And she will... she's going to get the, she'll be moving on to the semifinals, and JC's going to come out of the match on her side of the bracket. JC's going to come out of that one. There's no doubt about that. Soul, Lyra, Charlotte, and Jade. I have Charlotte winning that. And then the match that MF is looking most forward to. Liv Morgan, Becky Lynch, Chelsea Green, and I forgot who the other girl was, but nonetheless, regardless, I'm actually gonna go with Becky Lynch because let's not forget, we still got a certain Dark Angel. We still got a La Primera. Anybody forget about her? Anybody forget about Stephanie Vaquer, who's on her way back from injury?
That's right. I forgot about that, and I heard the dirt sheets about that too. So maybe Liv and Stephanie at SummerSlam.
It very well could be,
and maybe, just maybe, this is where Roxanne turns and screws Liv Morgan.
There's an event after SummerSlam, Labor Day weekend. Why they're doing it at this time of the year is beyond me, but it is what it is. Money in the Bank. I'm already going on the record. I got Roxanne Perez winning the women's Money in the Bank, and I think she's going to cash in on Liv and win the Women's World Championship. Maybe that night. You never know. So,
there's a lot to think about with this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Alexa Bliss, the other one in that match, but I've got Becky and Charlotte on one side in the semifinal. I got Io and JC on the other. I think it's going to come down to JC and Charlotte. And I think that's when JC wins the Queen of the Ring. And then JC will go on to win the WWE Women's Championship from Rhea Ripley in the SummerSlam whichever night they decide to do it. So
Actually, if you think about it, Anthony, we may get one of those semifinal matches in Providence if everything
Four-way.
holds to form, huh?
There's one. I mean, if you noticed, they did one on the men's side and one on the women's side yesterday. I think that's how it's going to go.
Yeah. So one men, one women each week. Oh boy, I wonder which one we're gonna get then.
Well, I'll set the table because there is some table setting we need to do for next week's show in Paris, France. Oh, by the way, so yeah, so this is a 3 to 3.25 star match. So MF, your thoughts? Io winning the match in 10:40. She's on to the semifinals.
Yeah, I'm not gonna waste too much more time on this one. It is about I think you guys said 3.25, 3.5. I thought it was a solid matchup. Io winning, I don't have any problem with it. Io is super red hot right now. I think a lot of people would love to see Io win it all, but I just don't feel like it's her moment, at least not yet. Plus, she's always been in the picture. I think to get Io versus Liv for the title would be an interesting matchup, but I just don't feel like the creative is going to go down that road. Not now, not yet. But eventually, maybe down the line we get it. But yeah, right now, but Io winning was the right, at least in my opinion, was the right call. Nothing more to say, Florio. Back to you.
Okay. Then there was some backstage stuff, and I think this is where okay, this is where we do the house cleaning here. Okay. Next Monday, Raw will be emanating from Paris, France. And another special start time, 2 p.m. Eastern on Netflix. Another Monday afternoon Raw. And we move on into we continue with the King and Queen of the Ring tournament. One each. One on the men's side, one on the women's side. On the men's side, it'll be Seth freaking Rollins versus Javon Evans versus Tala Tonga versus Ricky Saints. That's the men's match. On the women's side, MF, I remember on Sunday, this was the match you were hoping we would get in Providence. Unfortunately, and we're not going to get it in Providence. Gay Perry is going to get this one. Liv Morgan versus Becky Lynch versus Alexa Bliss versus Chelsea Green. So those are the two matches you will see in Paris on Monday. And then we'll see which two we get when SmackDown comes here on the 12th. So we'll find that out soon enough. Maybe as early as Friday, we'll find that one out. Main event of the evening. Seth freaking Rollins, one-on-one with Braun Breaker. Paul Heyman in Braun Breaker's corner. Winner of the match. Gentlemen, listen to this. 22 minutes and 25 seconds. It was Seth freaking Rollins. There's no doubt about this. This is far and away the fight of the night. 4.25 to 4.5 stars. Amazing match that advanced their feud. But it did not feel like it was designed to be the finale. I believe these two are going to meet in the King of the Ring finals, provided Braun Breaker is not too seriously injured. We'll get to that in a moment. But like I said, amazing match that advanced the feud. It's definitely not the finale. I believe it's going to be in the King of the Ring final. It was almost as if they were purposely holding back because they knew there would be a bigger clash in the future. Pace was a little slow in some spots, but the majority of what we got here was great. Braun Breaker looked especially strong in this performance. Austin Theory showed up to get involved, but Montez Ford showed up to even the odds. And then both opponents kicking out of each other's finishers before Breaker accidentally speared Paul Heyman through the barricade. Rollins capitalizes and scores the win. And like I said, 4.25 to 4.5 stars is my rating for this fight of the night. No question about it. There will be a rubber match, and I think it's going to be in the finals of the King of the Ring tournament. I think Seth Rollins is going to win it, and I think it's going to be Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns for the World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam to make up for not getting it at WrestleMania when that was the original plan before Seth's injury. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. 4.25, 4.5, fight of the night. MF, Rollins and Breaker, 22-25. Wow. Man, they got this. Did this get some time?
Yeah, fight of the night, and no doubt about it in my mind, this was an excellent matchup. Yes, there is a little bit some concern with Braun Breaker. Yes, I did see the video of him, a noticeable limp, and he also was favoring the back a little bit. So yeah, Braun is not at 100%, folks. He definitely something went wrong. Something definitely is not right with Braun. I hope he's okay. I hope it's nothing too serious. But yeah, it's not looking good for a Braun Breaker. But this was a hell of a match. 3.75. You could even make an argument for 4. That's how good this match was. Nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, fight of the night, 4.5 stars. I mean, yeah, I don't think this is the last we'll see of these two. I mean, I'm sure they'll meet again, and like you said, maybe in the final of the King of the Ring. So we'll see on that. But I did hear something that that Braun Breaker's injury that is not serious enough that it's that he won't miss any time. I mean, that's from what I've been hearing. So hopefully that is the case. So because the last thing we need is Braun Breaker to miss more time. I mean, he already missed time with injury. The last thing we need is for him to be back on the shelf. So nothing more to say. Let's get to our overall thoughts on this edition of Raw.
And Girl MF Michael Fletcher, you lead it off.
Other than the main event, I thought this was an all right show. Oba doing his destruction, great. What Io did in her match was fine. So all in all, it was a fine show. Obviously, whenever you get a Euro crowd, you're always in for a good time. All in all, I can give this about 7.5 out of 10. I thought it was a solid show. I thought it was good for what it was worth. I think it was a nice little follow-up from the Clash of Italy. Thank you, Italia, for everything that you guys have given us. We appreciate it, and we'll see you soon. And yeah, next up, we're going to Gay Berry with some croissants and some something else. I don't know. The baguette. There you go. I was thinking something else. I was thinking Pepe Le Pew. Mon chéri, oui, oui. The croissant. What? What did I say? What did I do?
Oh, man.
All right. Anyway, Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Well, how do you follow that? My gosh.
I was just going to say that. I don't know how in the world I'm going to follow that, but I'm not even going to bother trying. So, yeah, 7.5 out of 10. I mean, I thought it was a good show. I mean, yeah, there were some things I thought that they could have done better with, but all in all, I mean, I thought it was a good show. I mean, whenever they go to Europe, they always put on a good show, and that crowd is they're always red hot. So yeah, we'll see what Paris brings next week. So 7.5 for me. It's yours, Florio.
We actually do have one more show in Italy, and it'll be Friday Night SmackDown this Friday from Bologna, Italy. So you get the Italianos one more time, MF. So be ready for them. Anywho, yeah, I'm right there with you guys. 7.5 out of 10 for me on this as well. I mean, nothing particularly bad on this show. The King and Queen of the Ring off to a great start, and Yeah, Ray and Penta collision course for that Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. Solid tag team matchup there. So I'll say it like this: all four bouts were enjoyable, and Obafemi looking so strong after his loss to Brock Lesnar was the right call, and the right people won their King and Queen of the Ring matches. So at least some good decisions were made. Main event was the biggest highlight of the night. Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker felt more. It felt more like a PLE match, honestly, which is always nice to see on a weekly TV show. And some of this show was and this match was actually better than most of what we saw on Sunday, if I'm being honest. So very good match on that. So solid 7.5 out of 10 for this Raw here. So with that being said, gentlemen, we are going to move right on to NXT. Tony D'Angelo had a statement to make on tonight's edition of NXT. He defended his NXT championship against rookie upstart Cam Hendricks, alias Anthony Luke. This show also featured Zarya versus Lizzie Rain and men's speed champion Lexis King defending against newcomer Romeo Moreno. This was set to be an important night that would continue to build the foundations of this new look NXT. Could new stars emerge? Would any gold change hands? Who would step up next? Let's find out. First fight of the night from the CWC in Orlando, as always. It was Zarya squaring off against Lizzie Rain. Zarya wins the match 10 minutes and 32 seconds. 3.25 to 3.5 stars. While Zarya and Lizzie Rain did not click as much as Tatum Paxley and Lizzie Rain did, this was still another strong showcase for the Maiden of Metal. Lizzie looked good working as the underdog throughout this bout and sold herself as a genuine challenger to one of NXT's most dangerous women. This was always going to lead to a Zarya win. Though, if I'm being honest, I'm surprised that they're actually going to do this next week. I would have thought they would have saved this for the Great American Bash, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But that could be the end of the road for Paxley, since Zarya needs a big win to solidify herself as one of NXT's best heels. This was a start. This was the start. And next week for that Women's North American Championship, I think it's time. I think it's time for Zarya to hold some gold here, especially after her former partner Sol Ruca just won the Women's Intercontinental Championship at Clash in Italy. So I'm going on the record. I think Zarya is going to win the title next week. I think it's her time. So we'll see what happens. 3.25, teetering on 3.5 for this. So MF, I know how high you are on both of these ladies. I know how much you've taken a liking to Lizzie as of late. And yeah, Zarya won at 10:32, but boy, howdy, did Lizzie look really good tonight.
This is one of those instances. It's like the Brock Lesnar versus Obafemi fight. Both looked great coming out of this match. Lizzie looked good, even though it was in a losing effort. Zarya looked dominant and looks like she is ready to take the next step and becoming the Women's North American Champion. I totally agree with you, Anthony. I think history will be made next week. This was a 3-star bout. Michael Bullock, it is yours.
Yeah, I'm with you. This is a 3.25 star match. I mean, a great way to start it off. And yeah, Zarya really needed this win. And yeah, I mean, after the match, I mean, it looked like she was going to hit another F5 on Lizzie Rain. But Tatum came in and basically said, "You got your title match, and it's going to happen next week." I know both of you are saying Zarya is going to become the new champion next week, but I don't know if you guys saw backstage. I mean, Zarya basically jumped Tatum Paxley and basically took her out. I mean, I'm with you guys that Zarya is going to win, but
Booking 101.
exactly. That's my
You
only
think you
concern.
thinking Tatum's gonna win? Yeah,
That's my
yeah.
only
I can
concern.
see that.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if this didn't happen, then I'd be more confident with Zarya winning. But after what happened backstage, I have my doubts. I hope I'm wrong, but we'll see what happens. So, yeah, 3.25 stars for the match, but I know Florio, you and Fletch are definitely are saying Zarya wins. I mean, I want to as well.
I'm having second thoughts too. You made a great point.
Exactly,
I'm
because
having those
it's
second
that
thoughts myself.
backstage attack that just
The
it's
backstage
starting to
attack,
happen.
yeah, that speaks volumes. That
I
speaks
mean,
major volumes.
if that didn't happen, I'd
If
be
that
very
doesn't
confident.
happen, oh yeah, Zarya
with-
definitely goes over. But after
But
that, I changed my mind. I think Tatum's going over. And
mhm.
or maybe it ends in a clunky finish, and maybe they end up adding it to the Great American Bash show. Could be.
Now that I could see happening, but we'll see.
Or Lizzie gets involved, or I don't know.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. But
We shall see.
as far as I'm not as confident as the two of you.
Well, I'm starting to have second thoughts myself after what Bullock just said there. So, okay, let's talk about Sunday, June 28th for a quick moment here. I hope you all like wrestling, because on Sunday, June 28th, we're going to get a smorgasbord of professional wrestling. Not one, not two, but 3 major shows on the same day. It starts at 4 p.m. Eastern. Yes, note that special start time. 4 p.m. Eastern. TNA Slammiversary from the Agnes Arena in Boston University. Of course, we also know that at 8 p.m. that night, AEW is going to be presenting Forbidden Door from the Shark Tank in San Jose. We already knew about those 2 shows. Well, oh no. HBK and NXT, HBK says, hey, I want in on this as well. We want in on this as well. All right, HBK. Sunday night, as announced by HBK, Shawn Michaels himself, on his social media, late this morning, early this afternoon. Sunday night, June 28th, we will have, for the first time ever, an NXT PLE on the CW as part of that new deal. The Great American Bash. Sunday, June 28th, 7 Eastern on the CW as part of that new deal. Guys, look at this. TNA Slammiversary, NXT Great American Bash, AEW Forbidden Door, all on the same day. That is absolutely nutty. That is nuts. Oh my God. Oh, like I said, I hope you all like wrestling out there, because it's going to be on pretty much all day and all night. So mark it down, June 28th, guys. That's going to be one of the best days if you're a wrestling fan like all of us are. All right. Out the Mud, OTM, Bronco Nima, Lucien Price. They went up against Sean Spears and Nico Vance of the Culling, Izzy Dame in their corner. And the winners of the match, 9 minutes and 29 seconds. It's OTM. OTM wins the match, MF. OTM defeating the Culling. Could this be the start of a possible tag team title push for OTM?
Is it possible? Yes. Do I see it? I don't know, my friend. But I'll say this. That's a nice win. That's a solid win. That's a very good win. I'll give them that. I don't know where it's going to go. I'm very optimistic. But I'll say this: I liked what I saw there. That's a big win for them. I'm very impressed. Yeah, this could. Who knows? About 3.25, 3.5. Michael Bullock, it's yours, brother.
I could see them being getting a future shot at the titles. I mean, for OTM, I mean, I'll give this about maybe 2.5 stars on this one. And I don't know about you guys, but I sense some tension when it comes to the calling, because there's been some miscommunications the last 2 weeks with these. I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens with it, but as far as OTM, I, I think they could get a future title shot. We'll see. We'll see. So nothing more to say. It's yours, Florio.
Decent match here. Solid 3. Decent match, but it felt a little rushed. Despite a multi-week build, the culling never came off as serious threats to OTM. This may be for the best, since OTM should be on track to challenge for the NXT Tag Team Championship soon. However, with each loss, the culling loses already limited credibility. Shawn Spears is especially coming off as almost unnecessary to a group he started. And the sooner Izzy Dame and or Nico Vance turn on Shawn Spears, the better for the potential future of the culling. Solid 3 stars. And we move on to our next matchup, which is Jackson Drake with the Vanity Project in his corner. You know, the NXT Tag Team Champions, Brad Baylor and Ricky Smokes, as part of Swipe Right, and Micah Lockwood. Micah Lockwood, oh, by the way, for those of you who haven't watched LFG, that's Bailey Humphrey. I didn't notice it until I watched LFG the other night, as Bailey Humphrey was in a match that night against Carly Bright. But I'm like, wait a minute, is that? And then I looked into it and I'm like, yes, it is. Micah Lockwood is Bailey Humphrey. And who was her mentor on LFG? Michael Bullock's all-time favorite wrestler, The Undertaker. That's a Taker protege, dude. Taker protege. Keep an eye on her. But anyways, Jackson Drake squaring off against Tate Wilder. Jackson Drake winning the match, 8 minutes and 37 seconds. Michael Bullock, Jackson Drake with the win. And Micah Lockwood continues to impress as the muscle for the Vanity Project.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it when it comes to that. So I'll give this about maybe 2.25 for the match here. So not really more to say on it. So it's yours, Florio.
2.5 for the match. 2.5, 2.75. Two great athletes had too little time and too much interference to shine. Jackson Drake is racking up wins, but his in-ring efforts are obscured by the overwhelming interference. Tate Wilder, another LFG project. He continues to impress, though he needs to do more than hit the same basic offense at the close of every match before he loses. This was not going to be the moment for him to pick up his first win, but the next match may need to be the one if NXT wants him to come off credible anytime soon. 2.5, 2.75. MF, your thoughts? Jackson Drake over Tate Wilder, 837.
2.5, total agreement. Really nothing more to add. Florio, it's yours.
All right. Then we had an in-ring segment. We had the NXT Women's Champion, Lola Vice, talking up her win over Izzy Dame, turning the focus on her next challenger. Kalani Jordan arrives to clearly state she wants the next shot at Lola. Kalani questioned why Lola was loved while she was hated and ignored, despite her own impressive accomplishments. Enter Kendall Gray, alongside of Ren Sinclair, reminding them that she pinned them both in the Iron Survivor match last December at Deadline. Lola told them to fight next week, and they will have a number 1 contenders match next week, and the winner of that match will challenge Lola Vice for the NXT Women's Championship at the Great American Bash on June 28th on the CW. NXT is always at its weakest with in-ring promo segments, or as I call them at times, revolving door segments. The talent always seems more natural in backstage promos or working in the ring. this was no different. Lola Vice has one awkward cadence for her championship addresses. Kalani Jordan's feigned heel confidence is more grating than effective. Kendall Gray struggles to find her comfort between natural and rehearsed in these segments, leading to awkward laughs in the middle of her addresses. This was a big match announcement, obscured behind a flat promo segment from all involved. It is unclear who will win, which makes next week a little more exciting. So that's all we can say on that. Men's Speed Championship on the line. The champion, Lexis King. He had his birthright brethren in his corner. He went up again. He defended against Romeo Moreno, who had the Scottish Supernova 11, Noam Dar, in his corner. And the winner of the match in 4 minutes and 34 seconds, and still the men's speed champion, it is Lexis King. Of course, as we all know, when it comes to championship matches, when it comes to speed championship matches, the time limit gets extended to 5 minutes. Regulation matches are only 3, but this one got 5. So this was 2 1/4, 2.5 for the effort. Lexis King is an odd competitor for the 5-minute match setting, as his offense does not flow in that short time frame. Romeo Moreno, I thought, was doing the heavy lifting throughout this bout, and he came off as a far more worthy champion. But that is the point that gives Lexis heat for the moment. It would be nice, though, to move the goal to a younger and faster competitor that can make every title match a spectacle, rather than surviving with fine performances next to better athletes. 2 1/4 to 2.5 stars, and that's all there is to say on that. So then we had tag team action. We had Miles Bourne, the NXT North American champion. He teamed up with Tavion Heights. They squared off against Dark State's Osiris Griffin and Dion Lennox. And it was Dark State winning the match, 11 minutes and 1 second. This match had to be changed due to the attack of Saquon Sugars earlier in the night, and Lennox and Griffin looked more dangerous than ever. Tavion Heights and Miles Bourne, they could not recreate their old magic as a team. Miles Bourne got knocked off the apron, followed by a Dark State Doomsday Device to win. Good tag team match, even if the miscommunication between both teams hurt the pacing of the bout. Dark State needed this win more than Bourne and Heights, who are not going to work as a tag team anytime soon. In fact, it looks more likely than ever that the plan is for Tavion to turn on Miles Bourne and go after the North American Championship. Saquon Sugars may be taking over Dark State one man at a time, but he needs help eventually. He cannot just do a Tony D and run through the whole group by himself. 3 1/4, teetering on 3.5, but I'm leaning more towards 3 1/4 for this one. So not much more. MF, Dark State defeating Tavion Heights and Miles Bourne, 11:01.
Yeah, I'll go with the 3 1/4 as well. I thought it was a solid matchup. And you're absolutely right with everything you say about, the state of Dark State and the whole 9 yards and, with Tavion Heights and everything else. I think it will eventually lead to Miles Bourne versus Tavion Heights for the title. But right now, yeah, I totally agree with everything you said. So, Bullock, it's yours. 3 1/4 stars.
Yeah, 3 1/4, 3.5, 3 1/4 for me as well when it comes to this. So, yeah, you guys pretty much said everything when it comes to this. So, there's really nothing more for me to say. So let's move on, Florio.
All right. Next week on NXT, Tatum Paxley defends the NXT Women's North American Championship against Zarya. Kendall Gray versus Kalani Jordan in a #1 contenders match for the NXT Women's Championship. Winner will go on to challenge Lola Vice at the Great American Bash for the NXT Women's Championship. Mason Rook, one-on-one with Naraku, a.k.a. Evil. And unfortunately, yes, this is really happening. The Mr. NXT pageant. And I'm going to tell you all right now, we are not, I repeat, we are not going, to dignify this for one solitary 2nd. That's going to be campy comedy, bull funky nonsense. Get the you-know-what out of here with it. We are not, unless something significant, only if something significant happens. Only if something of significance happens. That's the only way. But as of right now, no. Get the you-know-what out of here with that nonsense, please. All right. Now that I got that off my chest, let's get to the main event. Tony D'Angelo defending the NXT Championship against Cam Hendricks, winner of the match in 10 minutes and 47 seconds, and still the NXT champion. It is Tony D'Angelo. MF, no big surprise with this outcome. But Naraku, Mason Rook, remember I said that they're going to fight next week. That match is now a number one contenders match, and I think we all know what that's going to mean.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be a fight in itself, a be a man fight. Naraku versus Mason Rook. Dude, I mean, when you hear about Mason Rook, you know what they said. He's big, he's bad, he'll body slam your dad. So we'll see how that goes. And Naraku, dude, this guy, like I said, this guy is just plain evil. He is going to, if you have not seen Naraku, if you have not seen what he's done yet, get ready. That's all I'm gonna say. This is gonna be a man fight, no doubt about it. Main event, 3.5 stars. Bullet, go.
Yeah, 3.5 for me as well. So yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. It's yours, Florio.
3.25, 3.5 for the main event here. All right. While this match was structured to make Cam Hendricks look like a threat, it was clear throughout this bout that he was not ready for a main event spotlight. D'Angelo had to correct for multiple basic mistakes early in the bout and bumped generously to keep the challenger looking dangerous. In the end, though, the story was that Hendricks could not win on his own without cheating, and the real challengers are circling the champion. Whether it is Mason Rook or Naraku next for D'Angelo, the potential of these upcoming title defenses comes off different. Both matches could main event the Great American Bash. Neither man, though, should beat the champion without further story build. At this stage, they have not sold themselves as more than potential threats this early in their NXT runs. It would solidify the champion, though, if he could defeat both men, then someone rising up the ranks more naturally dethrone D'Angelo instead. So that's all I can say there. So Rook and Naraku, number one contender match. It's obvious that whoever wins this will go on to the Great American Bash and challenge Tony D for the NXT Championship. So with that being said, overall thoughts, I believe MF gets it again. So MF, your overall thoughts on tonight's NXT?
Nothing to really write home about. It was fine for what it was worth. It was a good show. I'm not gonna say it was the greatest thing in the world, but I thought it was a fine show. I can give this no more than maybe a 7 out of 10. Just generally speaking. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
I'll give this about 6.5 to 7. I mean, it was fine. I mean, nothing really that much to write home about. So it's yours, Florio.
Yeah. If I had to put a letter grade on this, it would be a C+. I thought this was a C+ show. NXT remains a brand of potential so far, but not yet delivering must-see television with this new look roster despite falling into a comfortable rhythm. Next week's show has major potential with multiple number one contender matches and the Women's North American Championship showdown. Still, the problem remains that many of the featured acts are works in progress that have good and bad weeks. As NXT solidifies the direction to Great American Bash, NXT could find a better direction that requires less awkward surprises and more memorable exchanges. The chaos of NXT needs a bit more order to take decent shows like this to a level of quality that fans can follow and hype. So I'm right around where Bullock's going. It was more of a 6.5, teetering on 7 out of 10. I can go with that. So with that will put the bow on this edition of Ridiculously Raw. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in as always. We will be back with you again on Thursday night, 10:30, right back here on the Tone 25 for another edition of TXN Sports World. The Stanley Cup Finals, the NBA Finals, the UFL playoffs, and perhaps some more. So that's what we'll get into on Thursday night. Friday night.
I think
yes,
the more
Bullock. Yes, Bullock. I just remembered. Thank you. I already know. We also have some big We also had some big moves in the NFL. AJ Brown has a new home. Myles Garrett has a new home. And we have a Giants reunion. So what we're going to do, we're going to lay it out like this. We're going to start off with the NFL moves.
And I think another thing to throw in, Florio, one more thing.
Yes.
My recap of the annual Special Olympics Summer Games that just happened.
That's exactly right. So we're going to do the NFL moves. We're gonna discuss AJ Brown, Myles Garrett, and that Giants reunion. And another big move that the Giants made. Some big moves in the NFL. We're gonna give you our thoughts on that. We're also gonna preview the Stanley Cup Finals. We're gonna preview the NBA Finals. We're also going to preview the UFL playoffs, and then Michael Bullock will give will share his experiences from the 2026 installment of the Special Olympics Rhode Island State Summer Games. Not just him, but our dear friends as well. So we'll get into all of that on Thursday night. And then Friday night, 11 p.m., following SmackDown on MF's channel, Brace Fan 95, we got the Cerebral Smack Talk, TNA Impact, and Friday Night SmackDown. And then 1 week from tonight, we do it all over again with Ridiculously Raw. Monday Night Raw from Paris, France. And what's looking like a solid NXT for next week. So that's it. So until Thursday night for TXN Sports World, this is Anthony Florio here for the Phenom Michael Bullock, and in spirit, good old MF Michael Fletcher, and as well as our first lady of Talking Wrestling TXN, the one and only Twisted Angel Dee Woodson, and the newest member of our Talking Wrestling TXN family, the Trash Panda Jake Turner. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune Forest style. But for now, my friends, God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed couple of days. And until Thursday night, for TXN Sports World, you have been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and Streamy.com. And remember, my friends, no matter what anyone tells you beyond anything else, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, everybody. Bye.